Hey, Grant. So, good.
Hey, Bobby.
Guys went through a lot of film yesterday, I'm sure. What kind of stuck out to you that needs to go differently on both ends of the court tonight?
Honestly, it's really our offense that really stuck out. And defensively, we felt pretty solid on what we did. They scored a 1-on-1. So normally that's not enough to beat you, but our offense really equipped us and allowed them to get to 28 points in transition and like more than that and second chance, whatever else. So for us, it's really just kind of working those kinks out and then continue to defend at a high level. We adjust some things, but continue to approach defense that way.
For Giannis, you held him down scoring-wise pretty well, but he ends up killing you with the passing. How do you kind of balance that? You're looking to keep him from scoring, but he's, still finding shooters there.
Yeah, I think it's just understanding when and where to help and what to do. Talented player, phenomenal guy. So you have to do a good job of just, playing them solid, keeping them in front and making sure that you get out to your shooters on the outside because all those guys do that extremely well. I think Grayson's shooting like 65% on catch and shoots this year, or this playoffs, one or the other. So we just have to do a great job of understanding who we're guarding, when and when not to help, and who's guarding them because other guys do better than others.
And then, the amount of three-pointers you guys took, I think you may talk about, shooting open ones, not shooting contested ones. Is there like a shot complexion you're trying to reach, more mid-rangers, more paint touches?
Yeah, I think it's just about taking the open looks that come, no matter what they are. Trusting your shooting, trusting your process because you can't get jump shot happy. I would say taking contested ones and ones that necessarily weren't good for the team, but others you should definitely be confident shooting. You should never pass up an open three. That's something that I feel like in the league it's rare to get in general, so you better take those when you can. And then outside of that, just being a little more aggressive, getting fouled, being a little more physical. Those are probably the biggest things, and making sure that their pressure and their intensity doesn't speed us up.
I was just talking about how when they extended you out with the full court pressure, how you guys weren't really getting to your spots. How does having just to go into the backcourt to screen for ball handlers and just getting into sets a little bit later, how does that affect you guys, your rhythm?
Yeah, it's not just that. When in every level of basketball against pressure, it's three things you can do. You can screen it, you can beat it, or you can just basically kind of play with it, like kind of get up the court and set up your offense. Because oftentimes they're not trapping you. Not many people are picking you off 1v1. So it's just a matter of which one you want to attack it with. We have each that we can do, but honestly, it's just about kind of beating the pressure. Defending. Making sure that they don't speed us up. So being controlled if we do blow by, and also if we do screen, being able to set a good hard screen so they're not as conscious and trying to pressure as much as they had been because of the fact that they just got nailed by a screen. So this mixing it up, I feel like is the best way to do it at any level.
It seems like there's been a lot of calls on those backcourt screens. Like we saw it last night in some of those games too. Like, is that something you guys have to work out with the refs as far as like what are they going to allow for those kind of screens?
Not really. I think a couple of those were just missed. He tripped over Al's leg. Not much. It looks like it's a foul, but it's tough to see with the naked eye. So you can't really blame it for him. So with that one, I think that was one of the two, and the second one, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I feel like those you rarely get to see those really get called in the league because normally guys are set and they're just kind of, head cracking. You saw Steven Adams does it all the time, guys like that. So for us, it's just a matter of making sure that we get contact, not allowing their pressure to allow them to get by a screen so that it becomes moving. If we set them up well enough, you should be able to, set a good one and move on.
Then Ime talked about how you guys weren't getting into your play sets as much because they were rushing you. Is that something that you felt like improved throughout the game, or is that just something that you realized was an issue after the game and you are comfortable with?
I feel like we started doing better and better as the late game went on. I feel like throughout the game, we didn't do a great job adjusting. When you rewatch a film, it was mainly a 6-point game most of the game, and we just didn't get over the hump. So for us, it's just a matter of getting that offensive tweaking going and understanding exactly what shots we want, what shots we're going to attack for, and then being intense enough to get to those areas and make those happen.
You mentioned certain guys were defending Giannis a little bit better. What did you think of the job that Al did on him in particular in game one?
Yeah, he did really well. Al is a elite defender. In that sense, he's a guy that when you kind of see who he's matched up on, you can do a little bit more of like less help And that's something that we kind of have to identify, like when you're in a bad spot versus when someone has somebody contained. So that's just a matter of adjusting. Game one of the series, you got to see how other teams going to play. You got to see how you're going to play against the other team. So now it's just about making those game two adjustments and adapting and making sure that, you know, when we see certain things happening, we do a better job of approaching it from our front.
On Zoom, Adam Himmelsbach.
Hey, what's up, Grant? I was just wondering how Marcus looked at shoot around, if he kind of indicated to you guys he's going to give it a go tonight, and if for some reason he can't, how you make up for his absence.
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge on that. Marcus is a guy that's going to fight through anything, so I don't really know much about it, but I know his personality. So in terms of his injury and stuff like that, I wouldn't really know that. That's more for the health guys. But for myself, knowing Marcus, he's one of the most competitive guys I know. So whatever happens, happens.
They give up a lot of the high middle 3-pointers. You usually are spaced at the corners. Would you want to be more involved with some of that middle pick and roll so you can get those pops?
Honestly, it's not even about putting me into action or anybody else. It's just a matter of getting a good screen off, because when you get a good screen on those guys high, Brooke is in the drop or Bobby's in the corral. So you either have to attacking the outside against Bobby maybe, or being more aggressive, or hit pocket in the seam, and then Brooke is going to be back, so those jumpers are going to be open. So for us, it's just a matter of understanding, you know, that we have to do a better job of screening. That's probably our worst screening game of the year. If you look at the last filming session, so make sure that pressure is a little alleviated for the guards, because when someone's all up in you and hounding you, there's not much, you know, that you can really do unless you're just blowing by it. And they have a great job of protecting the paint when you do that. So for us, it's just a matter of adjusting and attacking that differently in game two.
Thank you very much, Grant.
Thank
Wrap
you.
it up right there for today, folks. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I really love Robert Patterson as Batman. You know, the Batman itself, even though it was long, it was definitely it established a lot of character points within the DC and what they kind of expect for the next movie. So I'm excited for the next one that comes out. Probably Catwoman. I don't know if she'll be in it, but maybe we'll see a little bit. I thought that was a hint to the Joker at the end of the end credit, kind of not in credit, but end of the movie, as well as, you know, Scarecrow potentially. You know, I'm excited to see where they go in that route.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you, everyone.